Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching 86, Season 1, Episode 18. Last episode, we were given the mission to try to destroy the railgun. It's a suicide mission, but we're fine. We're fine. It's going to be fine.
If this was any other group of people that we gave this mission to, all the other soldiers would be upset. But you know, it's this group of kids, so like no one really cares. Because
Nina's just so happy, like throwing parties at the sheer idea that Shin might die too.
You need someone to blame.
Yep. San Magnolia looks great.
It looks, they did a renovation. You know, they were like, we need to renovate.
We need to let people, we need to have our, the city that we put out to the public match what we feel on the inside. Yeah, match our souls.
Match our,
and they did a great job.
Degraded our hearts that are, super gross and horrible and disgusting. Yeah.
That's where we're at. We're hoping we're going to watch the right episode. At the end of last episode, it was like next week, special commentary episode. But it seems like this episode is 18.
Yeah,
so
it looks normal.
You ready?
Yeah.
Sweet.
以上の理由からモルフォ討滅には86-5名を含めたノルトリヒト戦隊を選抜しました。
Similar room to what Lena sat in with Jerome,
Even you don't have the right to overrule.
覚悟はしていた。中将、これは1年越しの消毒ではないのだよね。あんな子供がそれもたったの5人でレギオンの支配地域を突破できるはずがない。
Yes, they can!
安寧を第一とするなら得体の知れない連中など処分すべきだ。彼らを保護したばかりの頃、そう主張する将校たちがいた。君もその中の一人だ。
You were one of them.
大切なものを
Look at his expression.
その心情は否定しない。人でありながら言葉によらず、言葉を尽くさず、ただ暴力を持って我を通すなんてことは許されない。だからあえて聞いているんだ。
Wow. Stare.
違うと言い切れるんだよね。
それが本当に連邦の目指すべき姿なのでしょうか。
無論だよ中将。それが僕が先導するこの国のあるべき理想だ。何しろ僕は連邦市民の総意の代弁者であるわけだからね。誇り高く高潔に正義をもって職務を全うする義務がある。
承知いたしました。
He looks annoyed.
I didn't like that the word executing was used in a sentence. Because I'm like, are they going to try to execute him? Because it's his ideals and he speaks for everyone.
Like a coup?
Yeah.
Nah.
Not that he's getting in their way. He's like, oh, okay. They said yes to this mission? It isn't what it looks like, is it?
You think they're going to be able to do it by themselves, or do you think they're going to have some help?
I mean, it looks like
Just support.
The couple other people that are going with them look pretty strong.
Yeah.
So one of them was upset about it. He punched the wall.
I need Lena to survive this. I need Shin to survive this. I need them to move in together and be older sibling figures to Frederica and Nina.
Sitting in the dark.
That's what happened to your other eye.
Should have just said I.
だから意見具心に彼らの戦闘能力が認知され、こういう無茶な作戦に投入されるのを避けるためだったのですね、リヒャルト先輩。
あれに残されていた戦闘記録を見れば、そうしたくもなるさ。切れすぎる刃物は意味嫌われるか、便利に使い続
Or
ける。
used until it breaks.
いずれにせよ、あまり入れ込むな。いかに慈愛深く庇護されたとしても、戦いを忘れられんよ、彼らは。
そうかしら。あの子たちはまだ10代半ばの子供なのよ。いつかこの国にも慣れて、奪われたものをもう一度手に入れたいと望めるようになるかもしれない。そして、それでもなお戦場を生きる場所に選ぶとしても、決めるのは彼らよ。それまで私は待つわ。
そうまでしてやる義理が。
もちろん。溺れた子犬を拾うみたいに同じ人を救おうとした傲慢な私たちが負う当然の責任よ。
戦場で尖れ鍛えられた血刀が人の情を介するとでも。
昔同じ賭けをしたわね。覚えてる？あの時は私が勝ったわ。
そしてその価値を全てレギオンに持っていかれた。
Wow. Husband?
グレーテ、お前はただ重ねているだけだ。彼らに死者、もう二度と取り戻せはしな
Is
い。
that like a wedding
I
band?
think it is.
私の可愛いレギンレイブたちの晴れ舞台にノロマの輸送ヘリじゃふさわしくないわ。あれの使用許可を出してちょうだい。
What? What?
It.
まさか開かずの扉が開くのをこ
The
の
sealed door open.
とは。
開かずの扉であったのなら開けずとも良いもの。
さあ行きましょう。
I love mysterious doors.
Wait,
that
we're like
haven't been
going
open for a while.
down.
なのじゃ。
旧帝国空軍の格納庫よ。試験飛行も終わり、量産目前だったんだけど、戦争が始まって基地ごと一時放棄さ
What do
れ
you
た
think
の。
it looks like? Is it like a jet? You think it's big? You think it's small?
I bet it's fast.
なぜ地下なんですか？
おかげでこの子をレギオンたちに持ってかれなくて済んだわ。
Is it like a spaceship?
これが
Whoa.
試作
It
型
looks
地
like
面
a
効果抑機
Looks like a
XC1
stealth
ナハ
bomber.
ツエラーよ。今はまだお休み中だけどね。
これが飛ぶの？
地表スレスレを飛ぶことで得られる地面効果を利用して飛行する機
Wow.
体。
Right above the
Oh,
ground
fuck
to
yeah.
fly.
早
Okay.
くあなたたちをモルフォのところへ運んであげられる。
A lot of early planes did this with the water.
That's insane.
ええ、機体最下部と地面の間隔は数メートルしか
So
ない。
fucking
巡
cool.
航ミサイルより低いところを飛ぶからレーダーからも対空ミサイルからも見つかる。
Hell yeah.
それがナハツエラーよ。
連邦東南部の古い伝承にあるのじゃ。墓から蘇り、神
Oh.
を引きずって墓地に
Cool.
Wanders the
教会の鐘をつ
graveyard.
くという吸血鬼。それがナハツエ
Rings the
ラ。
church bell.
Amazing.
趣味悪い。
It's a great name.
もちろん避けるのよ。脳前注意なら可能でしょ。
Oh.
位置は把握できますが、そううまくいきますか？
この子は急
Trusting him with that, you know?
待ち伏せされると困るんだけど、まあ敵の大半は三国合同軍が引き受けてくれるから心配ないでしょ。
守備よくモルフォの元に到達できたとして勝てる見込みはあるのか。仮に勝てたとしてもそこは敵地のど真ん中じゃ。
The echo effect on her voice.
How will we get back?
それは
帰りの心配よりも、今はモルフを仕留めるのが先決だ。
誰が操縦するのこれ。
決まってるじゃない。
Yes!
Love it.
どうかしら。
そういうのいいから。
で、本当は誰が？
だから私よ。本当に私よ。
そうなんでしょ。
No plan to come back.
だってば。
開いておる。
Like a magical girl poster.
フレデリカ。
なぜ一人だけ首都に帰らねばならぬ。そもそもそのような許可は出ぬわ。マスコットが人質じゃということ忘れたわけではあるまい。なぜ突然そのようなことを言う。己が生き方を他人に決められる言われなどないと言うたのはそなたではないか。
必要ないなら誰かの死になんて関わらない方がいいとも言ったはずだけど、それにあれの声なら覚えている。お前に示してもらう必要なんてない。
話が逆じゃ。キリアにゆかりがあるのはわらわじゃ。帰るべきはそなたらであろうが。グレーテにはわらわから話す。せっかく86区の絶死の戦場を逃げ延びたのであろうが。
お前にはお前の騎士を見ることはできても他のレギオンは見えない。お前どうしてそんなに俺たちを後方に下がらせようとする。お前の騎士を撃ってほしいんじゃなかったのか。本当はあれを撃たれたくはないんじゃないのか。俺みたいになりたいわけじゃないんだろう。
そなたこそそれを誰に言っておるのじゃ。
No.
戦場に果てた兄君を追い、その亡霊を打ち果たした今、我が騎士の亡霊を追うてはならぬ
I
とわ
can't
らわに言
chase
う
my
のはな
own
ぜじゃ。
ghost.
目的を果たしてはならぬというのはなぜじゃ。目的もなく帰る地もなく誇りだけにすがって生きた果てがあの惨めな亡霊であると。そなたも同じものになりたいか。
俺はお前の騎士じゃないけど、お前の後悔と罪滅ぼしまで押し付けられるのは迷惑だ。
このわからずやめが。わらわは行くなと言うておるのじゃ。言うておるのじゃから従わぬか知れ者が。そなたは兄君に行くなと言わなんだことを後悔しておるのであ
You
ろう。
regret not.
口に出せないまま兄君が死地に赴いたことを今でも。
The twitch.
私自身が兄君と同じことをしようとするのじゃ。兄君にされて辛かった集中を
Make me
どうして
suffer.
今わらわにしようとするのじゃ。
The bear's crying.
フレデリコ。
行くでない。
It's not about Kiri.
そなたにキリのように死な
It's
れた
about
くはない。
you.
嫌なのじゃ。もう人が死ぬの上。わらわはまた兄様を失いたくないのじゃ。
Oh, it got a paint job. It's black now.
So cool.
Is that for stealth?
後方に下がらないのならどこにいても一緒だ。
隊長たち、そろそろ登場してください。
じゃ、行
I'm
く
so
か。
excited to see it fly.
おーい。
え、眠いの？
頼むぜ。
If Frederick is hiding somewhere, I will be furious.
みんな乗ったかしら？
操縦、本当なんだ。中佐。
空軍のパイロットはほとんど戦死してるし。
That's
飛行試験
reassuring.
でこの子を飛ばした経験があるのもう私くらいしかいないんだから。
Flew it. So she's actually flown this.
パイロットでしたか。
戦い抜くというなら、せめて最後まで
Then
戦
my
い
job
続けられるように一緒に戦うのが私の役目よ。
Mhm.
あなたたちがたどり着いたこの国も所詮理想郷には程遠かったけれど、これだけは覚えておいて。この国では誰もあなたたちの戦死を望んではいない。むしろ死なないでほしいと願っているの。
Makes you think about Ernst's conversation.
Yeah.
部隊のみんなも。
それに僕もね。いやー
Yes!
元気かい君たち。激励に決まってるじゃないか。僕一応連邦軍の最高司令官だからね。連邦全市民と国土周辺諸国の存亡の危機なんだから、これくらいはしなくっちゃ。君たちノルトリヒト戦隊の働きに連邦と周辺国人類の行く末がかかっている。
Giving such a big mission to these kids.
必ずモルフォを撃破するように期待している。了解。これが最優先任務だ。
Come home alive.
帰ってきなさい。全員で。
努力はするけど。約束はできないよ。
それじゃあダメだ。
Promise.
必ず帰ってきなさい。戦い抜くのだろ。
Oh, I love phrasing it like
生き
that.
残らなければね。
If you want to fight to the end, that is what it means. That's what fighting to the end means.
A new definition for fighting to the end.
そう。必ず帰っておいで。でないと僕は
Or
こ
all?
の世界を滅ぼしてしまうよ。これより西方方面軍は全軍をもってレギオン支配域に進軍する。我ら共和制ギアーデ連邦および友好ロアグレキア連合王国バルト盟約同盟のみならず助けを求める声さえ届けられずにいるかもしれない。
We haven't even heard yet. Oh my god.
全人諸国の命運をも左右する人類史上最大の作戦である。諸君は祖国同胞を堅守する
Look at those smiles.
また人類の未来を切り開く鋭き剣だ。
Remaining time! Oh my god, I love a good countdown.
I love that it cuts right on 10:00.
作戦開始。
Draw that fire. It's been 40 minutes about.
カタパルトレールの冷却を開始。冷凍機稼働率 23%。さらに上昇中。
キャノピ解放。
Oh my god.
I like the shot of him supervising since he gave permission to use this.
Oh my god.
那覇セーラー発進準備完了しまし
Yes.
た。
I'm excited to see it fly. Or hover.
動いた。
第1フェーズ完了。レギオン前線部隊の誘引に成功しました。より第2フェーズに移行します。テイワーズ HQ よりレイラーズ HQ ダーツエラー発進してください。
了解。
さあ行くわよ。
ナーツエラー発進。
Jeez. Woo!
これは思ったよ
Yeah.
り頭おかしいんじゃないの。最初に作ろうとか言い出したやつ。目標まで100キロと少し。9分ちょっとの空の旅は
9 minutes.
9
Holy
minutes.
shit. It's like a Concorde.
予定通り進行中。
Look at that smile.
The people that don't care if you come back and the people that do. Look at them just going off and the battle's happening right there. That's
損害を報告。まだ戦闘は終わってないぞ。お前たちに守りたいものがあるなら戦え。顔を上げろ。前に進むんだ。そしたらあのクソ忌々しい86どもが。そうしたら俺たちの勝ちだ。
そうね。私たちがモルフを撃破したらこっちの勝ちよね。
期待には応えてやらないとな。
そうね。
Okay, that was 86, season 1, episode 18. I'm probably gonna butcher this pronunciation, but the Natsera is so fucking cool.
it definitely didn't surprise me that it didn't look like the most cozy and stable and comfortable of rides. I don't think I could sleep in those 9 minutes that they have. Not that they would be sleeping in 9 minutes,
So-
but, you know, a little power nap.
What would keep you awake? The uncomfortable nature of being within it, or the screams of your somewhat comrades dying and referring to you as deplorable?
You know,
A little bit of both?
a little bit of both. In Shin's case, he has the screams of the alive people and the screams of the dead people. So, you know, maybe that's like, it's white noise that soothed him to sleep at this point. Like, he's so used to it that the voices of the alive people yelling and dying do nothing, right?
Yeah,
Because
there's
he's so used to
something.
it.
There's something about seeing all of them, all of Spearhead, like all of their expressions at the end when they're hearing those goddamn disgusting 86s, but then feeling reaffirmed with like what Karena's saying, and like they've been through so much of the same in like the position that they're put in, but their expression and how they're feeling again going into this is so compelling, and it's so devastating that without a character that is the sun like Ernst is truly, I would feel nothing but despair. Ernst is amazing. He's phenomenal.
It's crazy to hear lines like, and those goddamn disgusting 86, like, from the Federacy. I know it's not, like, I mean, it's crazy, like, as a viewer, me hearing it, how I feel is crazy. Because, like, yeah, you know, over in San Magnolia, they were really messed up with their, like, line of thinking, and they separated based off of, like, looks. You know, they kept their, like, silver-haired, certain color eye look, and then everyone else was, you know, at 86.
Mm-hmm.
In the Federacy, everyone looks different. So it's like, it's so hard, but I can understand
Yeah,
at the same time why they think of these kids as something other, like monsters instead of like teenagers. Like Wenzel brings up again, like these are teenagers.
Well, that's how that's
It's
the true
devastating.
devastation
Yeah,
of the like that's the nature of it, right? Because they don't have this view of the 86 because of how they look. They have this view of the 86 because that is how San Magnolia forced them into being.
Yeah, like that they've created them into monsters, and
Yeah.
now they're being viewed as monsters by the rest of the world in the same way that San Magnolia created themselves to be a republic that is going to be viewed very negatively in history going forward, even if hypocritically viewed negatively, because the whole episode was about this idea that, like, I mean, the whole last couple episodes has been like, oh, but we're not them.
Yeah.
We wouldn't. But then there's characters that are like showing that they have mindsets that what we're seeing is how easy, unfortunately, and disgusting it is, how easy it is
to slip
for a
into that
human
shit.
mind to slip into what San Magnolia did.
Yeah.
Like, it is, we're seeing characters within the Federacy that seem to be able to understand, but they're going to put themselves on a high horse and a podium and be like, oh, I would never do that.
Yeah. It's the lack of perspective. It
and they're
truly
disguising
is.
it as something else. Like when Ernst is like, is this what you're saying it is, or is it what I'm thinking it is? In the same way that things were disguised in San Magnolia, like Lena had to figure out that they weren't actually getting out after their term was up. And fighting.
I think that, like, in some cases, like the conversation we had with Ernst is like, yeah, we can see when it is intentionally lined up to be like, well, yeah, you were one of the people who were like, nah, we shouldn't like let them live this way. It is that way a lot of the time, but I think it's also subconsciously that way as well a lot of the time. Like I think that a lot of people, unlike Ernst, are like, no, we're not going to be like that. We're not going to do those awful things, but we're going to do it this way. And they lack the perspective that them saying we're going to do it this way is just one step in a different direction that will end up in a very similar result. Like, it's not the first step is, yeah, we're going to separate everybody who doesn't have this color hair. And, you know, it's not that drastic of a turn, but like a step to it is a step too far. And Ernst is a character who is able to realize that and see that, yeah, if we don't give them the mission of not only to destroy the Morpho, but they have to come back, if it's anything but that, I'm going to destroy this world. I love it.
And then, like, when we get that conversation with the Eye Patch General and Wenzel, that's what I'm going to call him right now, it's this idea that, like, both ideas, using the weapon or not using the weapon, so a weapon that has been forged the way that it has, almost like it's cursed. If you don't use it, maybe you're on an ethical high ground, but it's still going to have repercussions that are bad. And if you use it, it's going to have repercussions that are bad. Like, it's kind of like neither option
Which weapon
is ideal. Like, they are the weapon.
Oh, gotcha.
The cursed weapon in this scenario. That, like, you've been given this crazy, it's almost like a nuke. Like, you've been given a nuke, and if you use it, like, yeah, it can do a lot of damage, but, like, there are tons of freaking repercussions of it, and it's not really amazing that those exist now in the world that could, like, obliterate entire nations. Like, that's terrifying.
I love that Wenzel, like, we're able to feel vindicated in the 86, like, knowing what they should do and knowing what they are good at, while also having a character who's an adult, like Wenzel, being like, they are still their age. We need to make sure that we can foster an environment that we're aware as adults that they are still not adults. And once they get to that point, they can still have the opportunity to choose to do this or something else.
Right, like Jerome's conversation with Lena about it being an adult's job to ensure that the children can continue to dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, right now as teenagers, like, they are deciding to do this, but maybe the frontal lobe isn't completely there yet, and years from now they want to do something else.
I think that it's not even like, yes, the frontal lobe, but like give them 10 years of the uncomfortable peace they had and then ask them that same question.
A year is not enough for people to get over breakups.
Yeah.
Like,
for real.
The time that they had, they got a glimpse and they really took it, but the entire time, the war, like, you can't really have a peaceful time off when you know that fighting is still happening.
Yeah.
And that your comrades are still out there, like, even as disembodied voices within the Legion. Like, you cannot actually feel it in your bones.
If you have, like, just for example, 5 years of war, you need at least 5 years of peace to
After
even begin. That. To
where there's not a war going on that you feel like that sense of responsibility pulling you toward it, like guilt that you aren't, like survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
That you aren't currently a part of.
You're being
that.
affected by the fact that you just came out of a circumstance that was legitimately the same.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Give them that chance for that future.
I absolutely adored Shin and Frederica's moments this episode. It was so heartbreaking. She's one of the best characters, and in the second half of the first season, and she just doesn't want to lose any more family.
I really liked that it was pretty clear from her dialogue before she explicitly said it that what she's talking about emotionally here is Shin. Like, Shin kept saying things like, you wanted us to kill your knight. You wanted us to do this thing for this person that you were close to.
I memorized the voice. You don't need to point it out for me.
Right, and it's not him denying how she feels about him as an older brother, but it's him being focused on maybe what he thinks is more important to her, or like, oh yeah, of course, if this was the person that she's this whole time been clinging to, this my own ghost. And then she turns around and has a line that's like, I want you to come, you're the brother to me.
Yeah, and Shin is reaffirming that, like, no, this is the circumstance that we originally communicated and I heard you on and somewhat agreed, like, okay, this is gonna happen. I'll take care of it. Don't
like
worry.
Like a goal or a mission that we like agreed on. Yeah.
And ignoring what has happened along the way, what the relationship has been along the way, and what doing that to Frederica would mean.
Right, like we get this really awesome eye twitch from Shin when she starts to compare to, like, how did you feel when your brother went off to fight? And she's like, that's how I feel, like you're my brother and that you're leaving me and I don't want you to die and I want to stop you from going, or I want to go with you. Like, and the twitch of, like, him, like, I guess just realizing that, like, in the same vein as, like, Wenzel and Ernst is like, we want you to come back alive. Like, there are people here who will miss you, despite what we've been getting dialogue from other military officers in episodes being like, oh, well, it's okay to sacrifice them because no one's gonna miss them. That is not true.
Yeah. Do you think Frederick is on the ship?
I don't think that she is. There was something we saw a shot at, like, Shin's hip right before we left, and I couldn't tell if the gun was there or not.
I thought it was.
I could tell that it was like a holster, but I couldn't tell if the gun was in it. And I think it was right when we were talking about, like, oh, is Frederica gonna be okay? Like, we're leaving now. And I was like, is the gun there? Like, why are we getting a shot to it? Are we getting a shot to it for that idea of the fact that, like, death could really be on the line here? Or are we getting a shot to it because it's a promise that Frederica made Shin make? And then that would tie me into the idea that Shin is the one that did the finishing blow to Nina's brother, Eugene, with that gun. Is it there?
Yes.
Okay. So I thought it was just an empty holster when it, like, quickly quickly panned by.
Yeah.
But it is there. But I think that, like, getting a shot at the gun when we're talking about Frederica definitely has to be tied to the Nina, Eugene, Shin having to kind of mercy kill for Eugene.
Yeah. I wouldn't think that a character like Frederica could come in and be as substantial as she is, but I think that one of the things that really does it for me is, like, nobody else can or has talked to Shin like this. And has the knowledge of not just the situation that Shin was in and dealing with, but the feelings and the complexity of feelings that Shin has with what went down with Rei.
It's closest is Lena.
It's fucked up, yeah.
Because Lena had met Rei.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is why when Shin is holding Frederica episodes ago and Raiden's like, oh, she reminds you of you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that wasn't what I was thinking, you know? Like, oh, okay.
I wanted to read the Natsera. What an awful name. A Natsera is an old vampire legend from the southeast part of the Federacy. It rises from its grave and wanders the graveyard while dragging its shadow behind it and rings the church bell. I love this shit. Like The Undertaker, and now
the fact that he's within this.
Yeah.
And being flown to the mission that he is. I also love these pictures and these namings of things on on what we're, like, flying in and juggernauts and stuff. I also, for this scene, you really hear it for Frederica's moments of speaking within this hangar, but the effect that was on the voice acting to kind of give you that effect that they're literally in a giant echoing hangar.
Yeah.
I was really appreciating that, because it was also just, like, Frederica's lines, they give this character really good lines.
Mm-hmm.
She's not an extra at that point if you're giving her, like, freaking amazing lines like they give her. Like, she's substantial to this story. And her amazing lines were partnered with amazing voice effect that was like an echo that made you feel like there's almost this, like, you can't hide from these words when they're being shouted within a big empty space like that and getting the echo. It's like you'd feel them in your bones. Like, if you were in that room and someone was, like, saying something really powerful or really meaningful, really putting their emotion into it,
yeah,
and maybe even yelling, you would feel it, like, reverberating within you with the echo within that room. Like, it's surrounding you, that surround sound, you know?
Yeah. Man. Do you think that we had, like, the mileage and how long it was going to take for us to get there? There's no way that was real, right?
How long it would take, like, the 9 minutes?
Yeah. What was the mileage that we got?
I don't remember the mileage. I just remember the 9 minutes.
We got kilometers. Enjoy our 9 minutes in the sky. It's a little over 1,000 kilometers to our goal. There's no fucking way. That's wild.
I think that my favorite part of this episode, other than the fact that it didn't have, like, an outro, really, like, it didn't have the ending anymore. It was, like, over top of, like, getting more episodes. So I always love when you get more of the actual episode. It's such an awesome moment when that happens, because you know that what's happening on the screen and what you're getting within the actual narrative itself is, like, peak and a climax of, like, oh my god, they're gonna give us all of this in one sitting. And I think my favorite moment was within that, and it's when it's just such a powerful composition, and the audio is powerful at the same time, and it's literally, you see the ship even in the distance. It's all the way over on the left side of the screen, up against the ground, going, while you're seeing all these flashing lights and hearing these voice lines of people literally dying, but also just, like, distracting, keeping the Legion occupied, fighting with their lives on the line, as this, like, fast, but it almost looks like it's going slow,
yeah,
ship is just sneaking around and going off on the singular, like, it feels isolating too, because you're getting all of these flashing lights and you're taking up the entire screen with the action that's happening on the right side of the screen. Like, the lights were even reaching the top of the screen. And then over here, you just have like a wide sky and just low to the ground. It's almost like isolating too. Like a march. Is that really, like, that reminds me of the vampire coming out of his grave, you know, and slowly crawling to the Morpho.
Because, like, within the narrative's perspective, like, the second that the 86 are, like, cross the line where they're not able to communicate with Lena, that's affectionately on, like, one end of the story. It is their grave. That's how we perceived it then, and now they're going back into it.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it, like, 6,600 kilometers? It's like okay, never mind. I'm getting too focused on the speed of the Natsera.
I just know that I don't want to be within that aircraft.
Have you ever done the slingshot, like that, like carnival-esque ride?
No.
They have it at beaches sometimes.
No. I've been on roller coasters, and that's and not at like a carnival. I mean, like a established park.
Yeah.
But not anything else. I'm not too into like risk behaviors.
I don't know if that's risk behavior.
Adrenaline pumping behaviors that could possibly have a risk. Maybe I'll phrase it as that.
Would you, like, I would love to go to like an astronaut test facility and get to try to experience like a very watered down version of like the G's that they must like have to deal with and like have to stay conscious with.
I'm not.
It'd be so interesting.
I'd be interested to hear of someone's experience doing that, but I would not be interested in partaking.
Nah.
I will just stay at home in my bed.
Okay. All right. That's all I have you.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.